got one. Jim Nantz was saying earlier this week that at one point you consulted Andy Reid, asked him about, how well he does after bye weeks or anything like that. Can you maybe
that was when I was in New Orleans. I'm going to say that was 2008. He was at Philly. I just called him and said, "Hey, what's your schedule?" And he kind of gave me the schedule. We hadn't done too well at that time, and I kind of adopted it. And since then, we've kind of – you'd have to go back and look at the number. I can't recall the year, 07, 08. We had played a bunch of games against each other in the regular season. I think we were 06 regular season, 06 playoffs. Then we were 09. We had played him quite a bit. But yeah, he's someone I would say I'm close to and have a ton of respect for and a good relationship with.
Sean, your defense has been the best in the NFL in the red zone this year. Obviously, they're really good.
Yeah.
Is that it's important every week?
There's a lot of, obviously there's situational football, and oftentimes it comes down to a third down in the red zone, the 4-point play. Do they convert it? There's a good chance then, or can you get off the field? So all of that is going to be important, and in this game.
A couple weeks ago, you said you wanted your Wednesdays to be like Sunday. Anything else that you tweaked without giving away state secrets?
No, there's a number of things. We've had a good week. These guys are focused. They certainly understand the significance of the game, and it's like I said to them before, you're going to play in bigger games. But this is the next one.
It sounds like Ben Wider's been dealing with some sort of illness, undiagnosed. If you guys know about that?
We're on top of all of our players. So, yeah, he's doing great.
Sean, you said that the other day you were looking at the wrong part of the third down on your play chart.
Just meant third and long.
Well, but I'm saying in real time, who do you rely on to kind of be your checks and balances? I mean, does Joe or does Peter?
No, when I said I'm looking at the wrong part, that meant we were in third, and there's sections 2 to 3, 4 to 6. So it's actually kind of quiet when it's 3rd and 11. There's a lot of thoughts on 3rd and 4, and so I just meant that we were too many long yardage situations.
Hey, Sean, you may have just touched on it, but what have you learned about the personality, the psyche of this team, and what makes it unique?
Well, I think it's something every year for all the teams in our league. It develops, it grows forward, backward, and then when you start winning, you can point to moments. A year ago, we didn't fare so well in close games. We won 10 games, but in one-score games, we weren't nearly as good. And our opponent this weekend was unbelievable in one-score games. I'm glad that script is flipped because we played in some close games. And you pinpoint a game, you might say Philly, you might, so. But I think we got the right guys. We got the right, I would say, grit, mental toughness, all those things I think that it takes to win, be successful.
And you talk about what you just did in terms of pulling those games out now and building that confidence. I mean, what does victories and success do? Confidence
comes, and we say it all the time, you can wish for it, but it comes from demonstrated ability. Well, every one of us here has seen a young player grow right in front of our eyes, and there's a game, a moment, and then they're better the next week, and then pretty soon they're good. And so a team is that way as well.
You've got the top sack duo in the league in Benito and Cooper. Just how much pressure does it put on offense when you've got two guys with such capabilities coming on the opposite sides?
Yeah, well, each week when we do our game plan, protection plan, we talk about who's getting the nudges, who's getting the and it becomes more challenging if there's two, because you can direct attention to one sometimes, and so. But I think more importantly in this game, it's also understanding how effective Patrick is off schedule, and how to rush him is important.
For a guy who's played the role he has 2 years, what have you seen from Jaleel just behind the scenes through these?
Yeah, listen, his story. You may not because you weren't here, but his story is pretty impressive, and so we saw it early in camp, and then he had 100 and some yards in a preseason game in San Francisco, and it was like, well, he's not getting to the practice squad. He's ready, and it would be difficult to play for 2 seasons and then be inactive. But he's one of those guys. He's the first in the building. There used to be a hill he ran, so he doesn't get to run that anymore. But he'll walk through the script and then work out and then be eating breakfast when people are just arriving. And that's, he's one of those guys that we refer to as he's got no plan B. And that's pretty powerful.
How difficult, knowing that in the story, was it just to make that decision, knowing you guys?
Yeah, it's always there's always those decisions that are challenging, and then it's communicating constantly with the players. Hey, you're gonna, I can't tell you when, and then here's when, and so he'll be ready.
Coach, from the outside, this is believed to be maybe the biggest game in 10 years that happens in Denver. Do you expect more from the crowd, or what environment and atmosphere?
I think the most important thing is crowd noise in the huddle and to the line of scrimmage. The altitude obviously is not crowd related, but we played in some noisy stadiums, and so I always get I hate when they play those NBA things where follow the ball. As soon as they do that, everyone is quiet. So I don't think you want to talk to an NFL crowd like you want to an NBA crowd. I think the crowd noise is super important with pass rush, third down. It doesn't just have to be third down, but when they're in the huddle, it would surprise you how hard it is. And some stadiums are promoting that noise when they break the huddle, and I would say in the huddle is just as important, because talking to the first discussion amongst 11 can get hectic. And so I think I can't tell you about 10 years, 9 years. It's an important game. It's a division game, but the crowd noise certainly can benefit us.
So if the quarterback goes like this with his ears, is that a sign to the crowd that okay?
It means things are going pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Sean, with Greenlaw, it looked like he was almost up to a full workload against the Raiders.
And that's kind of on board, making sure that first game back, second game back, it's the right thing to do with an injury like that. So
now that he has a little bit of a base under him, what have you just made of the impact that he's made?
Yeah, listen, it's been remarkable. That goal line stand a week or two ago. I mean, he's a physical tackler, and he's got that it. I'm glad he's on our team.
Sean, with Dre missing all that time, and now obviously Alex he's dealing with how valuable his Sternad's.
Extremely. It's flexibility too.